Hello and welcome to Shining Waters Yoga. This class is a chair yoga class for to support bone health, specifically created for people that might be struggling with arthritis, osteoporosis, osteopenia, who want to move, to be active, to strengthen their bones and the muscles around their bones, supporting their balance, all those things in a safe way. I created this class specifically in my work for the VA Medical Center for veterans that were diagnosed with osteoporosis or osteopenia. Anyone is welcome to do this class. All you need is a chair, as you can see mine behind me. A mat would also be good. We're going to be doing some seated postures and some standing postures. We won't be doing anything from the floor today. I will show you how to safely get up and down from the floor if you're able to at the end to come into final rest. You'll have the option to either lie on the floor. If that does not sound safe for you, you can certainly do your final rest from the chair as well, but we'll at least go through that. This class was meant to be the sixth class, the last class in a 6-class series that I taught for veterans. So keep in mind that we broke down a lot of these things more in depth through that series. I wanted to put something on my YouTube channel that folks could come back to and watch for support when they want to do the class over and over again. We tend to hold postures a little bit longer in this class. We will do warm-ups and then get into some of the postures. And that is specifically for building bone health. We want to create that stress, positive stress, to strengthen the bones. All of this being said, it's always important to consult with your physician before starting any new exercise practice. Anything in the practice that any cues that I give are always just an invitation to movement. Yoga is mindful movement. We move mindfully, slowly, being aware of our body's needs and any other health issues that you might have going on. So if anything I offer doesn't speak to you or you feel like it's not safe, please avoid it. You can skip a movement, you can stop and rest, drink some water, go back to something else, or just wait for the next movement. So I think that's pretty much all you need to know. As I mentioned, a chair, a mat is helpful. If you want a blanket later for relaxation, you can have that. We do use yoga blocks in this class. If you don't have them, no worries. I'll just mention how you can use them. All right, let's get started. We begin from our seated mountain posture. Sitting tall in your seat, your feet touching the floor. Make sure that you have a chair that supports that height, that the feet can touch the floor. Knees pretty much in line with the hips or a little bit lower, and hip width apart. So knees and feet are about hip width apart. And then we're going to lift and lengthen the spine. I've got my notes because I don't want to forget anything that we did in the practice. By the way, if you are interested in doing the full 6-week series with me, I'm going to offer it online as an online class in January 2025. So shoot me a message for more information, and that my email will be in the comments. So, okay, beginning from seated mountain, we want to start with a long spine. And the foundation, our foundational posture is really important when we're dealing with any spinal issues or bone health issues. So we start with this tall spine. Taking a moment to become aware of our body. Feel your feet touching the earth and your sitting bones touching your chair. Lifting and lengthening your spine all the way up through the back of your head. If you like, you can add a mudra here. We did Marudanda mudra, which is the thumbs up mudra. And place your hands in your lap and just gently press into your thighs. And when you do that, see if you can notice how you lift your chest. It supports you lifting the chest and lengthening through your spine. Feel your tailbone, your root. And as you breathe in, imagine lifting and lengthening the spine one vertebrae at a time, all the way up through the crown of your head, remembering that the neck is part of our spine. So you might even tuck your chin slightly as you lengthen through your neck. You'll see me move around quite a bit just to give you different angles as we move through the practice. Once you find that tall seated position, we have a mantra that we use to help us embody this strong foundation. And this actually comes from Ellen Saltonstall. So we say collarbones wide, chest lifted, shoulders back and down, neck long. So that's our mantra. We're going to tell ourselves, remind our bodies how to be. Collarbones wide, chest lifted, shoulders back and down, neck long. Remember, maybe tucking the chin just slightly. Don't let your head fall forward or back. Collarbones wide, chest lifted, shoulders back and down, neck long. Notice how it takes a bit of effort to keep this tall posture. Anytime we do any kind of forward bending or twist, seated twist, we want to have this long spine, otherwise it could be unsafe. Start to find your breath. Notice how you're breathing today. And starting to engage what we call the 3-part breath. Breathing in to the lowest part of your lungs, the middle, and the upper. We breathe out the same way from low to high, low, middle, high. Breathing in, filling up the lungs from low to high, and breathing out from low to high. Perhaps finding an evenness in your breath. It might take a few breaths to become aware of that. Your own natural rhythm of breath. It's going to be different for everyone. And this will guide us through our movement, our pace of movement in the practice. Please go at your own pace. You don't have to match mine. Breathing in and breathing out. We're going to add on here a little bit. As you breathe in, again, being mindful of lifting and lengthening the spine. And as you breathe out, feel for drawing your lower belly in a little bit. Now, we don't usually do this when we breathe, when we're just breathing and not exercising, but I want you to feel the engagement of your lower belly muscle. So as you inhale, lift and lengthen your spine. Feel the chest expand. As you exhale, draw your navel in towards your spine. And relax the hands back down, breathing in and breathing out. Becoming aware of your core, part of your core muscles. Again, so important for our balance, our strength, that lower belly muscle. Take 1 or 2 more breaths here, depending on your pace. I'm just going to do 1, breathing out. And then we'll start to warm up the body a little bit. You might just kind of shake the arms a little bit, lift your shoulders up to your ears, and exhale and release. So let's do that. Match the breath with the movement. Inhale, lift the shoulders up to the ears, and exhale and release. Breathing in and breathing out. That same pace of breath we did in the beginning, breathing in and breathing out, just letting go of tension in the shoulders. And then we're going to come into a little chin tuck, which I sort of was talking about when we were talking about lengthening through the neck. I'm just going to show it. I'm going to come a little bit closer and show it sideways. So we're going to tuck the chin. And as you do that, think about a little string kind of lifting and lengthening the back of your head. So when you tuck the chin, you're not dropping your head forward. You're just kind of pulling back and then release. And try to match the breath with that. As you inhale, tuck the chin. That might seem counterintuitive, but we're going to lift the chest, lengthen through the neck, and exhale and release. It's a small, subtle movement. Breathing in, tucking the chin, lengthening the neck, and breathing out. And once more, inhaling, tucking the chin, and breathing out. If you're having trouble feeling that, you can also place your fingers right at the nape of your neck where it meets the skull, and you can think about pressing the back of your head into your fingers. I should probably show it on this side. But once you find it, then relax your arm down because we don't want to create that tension in the shoulders. And release. Let's do one more tuck. And release. And then we're going to go ahead from there. Let's just move the head a little bit side to side gently. Going into our warm-ups. This is just warming up our body and our joints for movement. So not as much for the strength, but just warming up. Coming back to center, we'll take the fingertips to the shoulders and circle your elbows forward, up, back, and down. Getting into those shoulder joints. Forward, up, back, and down. Use the breath, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Let's do one more and we'll reverse it. Take it the opposite direction. And then relaxing the arms down. Let's circle from the elbows. A few circles from the elbow joints. And reverse it. Taking it all the way down to the wrists. We're going to do some hand strength, some wrist strength. So let's just warm up the wrists. Circling the wrists. And reverse. Shake it out. Give the hands and the arms a nice shake. And then interlace your fingers with the fingers on the outside, or interlace your hands with the fingers on the outside. Press the palms out. Inhale, start to shake the arms up overhead. Again, we're lengthening through the spine, rooting down through the sitting bones. Some of you may not be able to go up that high, so just noticing range of motion with your shoulders. Draw your navel in a little bit as you exhale. Take another breath in, reach those arms. Might help you to get a little more movement if you turn your head side to side. Open up things a little bit more. And then relax the arms down. Let's do that again. Interlace the hands, press the palms out, lifting up on the inhalation. Exhaling down on the, exhaling down, roll the shoulders back and down. Again, let's interlace the fingers, press the palms out, inhale to go up. Exhale the arms out and down. And roll the shoulders back and down. Let's notice if you feel a little bit warmed up here in the upper body. And then let's go ahead and do some of our wrist strength, and then we'll come down and warm up the lower body. So the first thing we're going to do is press the right hand out. We're going to do the right side first. I'm just going to sit sideways so you can see it. I'm going to extend my arm and then take the left hand to the right fingers and press back. We're going to hold this for about 3 breaths. Now, if it's not comfortable to do that, just release when you need to. And you can work up to that 3 to 5 breaths, holding, strengthening the wrist. And then shake it out. We'll do the same thing on the left side. I'll just turn around. You don't have to do this in your chair. You can just extend your arm out, take the right hand to the left fingers and press back. Keeping the arms straight. And breathing in and breathing out. We'll do that for 2 more breaths. And shake it out. We're going to do the opposite now. So we were flexing the wrist this way. Now we're going to go the opposite way. But we're going to do that, we're going to fold the fingers into the hand like a thumbs up. We're going to flex the wrist, placing your left hand around the right and press into your left hand with that fist. So it's really important to keep the arms straight here. If you bend the elbow, you're not going to feel much of anything. Pressing the fist into the left hand. You might feel this all the way up even in your forearm and up to the elbow. Again, 3 to 5 breaths, whatever you're comfortable with today. And important to strengthen our wrist bones. Oftentimes when we go to fall, that's the first thing we do. If we have a fall, is we try to catch ourselves with our hands. So strengthening those bones in the wrist and the muscles as well. Just shake it out. Last time on the left. Extend the arm, folding the fingers into your hand, thumbs up, and then you're going to flex at the wrist and press that left fist into your right hand. Breathing in and breathing out. Last breath. And shake it out. Let's shake out both hands again. Let the muscles be nice and relaxed. Anytime we do a nice strengthening posture, it's good to come into a little relaxation or just let go of any tension that we may have created. All right, so we're going to come into the seated twist. A couple ways you can do this. Always be mindful about twisting for your spine. We always want to start from that lifted, lengthened posture. So rooting down through your sitting bones and your tailbone, lifting and lengthening, coming back to that seated mountain. You can use your thumbs up if you want to. And we're going to bring the knees and the feet together here. And then take your left hand behind your left hip. You'll inhale the right arm up. And as you exhale, turn to your left, bringing the right hand outside of your left leg. Now that turn, that twist is going to come from the middle of the spine. And start to just take your gaze over to the left. Some people like to have their hand behind the chair, or you could scoot forward a little bit and place your hand on the chair, whatever's comfortable for you. And again, checking in with your spine. Each time you inhale, lift and lengthen all the way up to the crown of your head. As you exhale, draw your navel in. Soften through your shoulders. Make sure you're not creating tension in your jaw or your neck. You can always release the head and neck and come back into it. Maybe taking one more breath here. Another way to do this, if you prefer, is to, I'm going to inhale. I'm going to exhale just to come back to center. Because you can actually turn sideways in your chair if you have a chair like mine. And again, you can lift and lengthen your spine and turn to the left and hold on to the back of your chair. Same twist. Some people prefer to do it this way. This is equally valid. So if you like that, you can try that on the other side. Again, I'm going to inhale here and exhale and come back to center. So doing it on the other side. Again, I can sit on my chair normally, knees and feet together, lift and lengthen the spine. Take the right hand behind you for support. Inhale the left arm up, and as you exhale, twist to the right, bring that left hand outside of your right knee. And then just checking the posture, lift and lengthen through your spine, and draw your navel in. Holding for 3 to 5 nice, long, slow breaths. If you prefer to do it the other way, seated on the side and holding onto the back of the chair, it's the same seated twist. You have choices. I'm going to come back to the first. I like to do it this way. Let's hold for one more breath. Exhale and release back to the center. So let me turn my chair back around face front. Let's go ahead and come into some things for the legs. Let's warm up our legs and we'll come into a nice hip stretch in our pigeon posture. So let's just extend the right leg, flex your foot, and then slide it under your chair, bending your knees. We're going to flex and extend through the knee joint. And you can add the breath, extending, breathing in, and bending and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Let's do one more. Breathing in and breathing out. And here you can actually lift your knee up a little bit. Again, make sure you're not bending forward to pick up the knee. You're lifting it up to you. You're actually using your core. You can lift the leg from underneath the thigh, or you can grab a hold of your shin and just circle your ankle. And reverse. Just warming up the feet a little bit. Feet and knees. And you can actually just bend and straighten again. Release it out. Place it down. Left side. We're going to inhale, extend the leg, flex the foot. Exhale, bend. You can sort of slide your foot under your chair as best you can. I have a metal bar on my chair, so my movement's going to be a little bit limited. Breathing in, and breathing out. Breathing in, extension of the leg. Breathing out, bending your knee. Breathing in, and breathing out. One more. And then we're gonna lift that knee up so we can bring the foot off the floor, catch hold of your shin or your thigh and circle your ankle. And reverse. I think I switched directions a couple of times. Like, go ahead and shake it out, or you can just kind of bend and extend a little bit, let it be loose. It's a little odd doing this on YouTube because I think it turns everything around the opposite direction. So it's like mirror image. So let's sit a little bit forward in the chair, scoot forward a little bit, make some space between your knees, and just kind of let your knees windshield wiper side to side. I call this windshield wiper. Just moving your femur bone in the hip socket. Moving the leg side to side. Feel those hips warm up a little bit. Or pigeon posture, that's our next posture for strength. So coming back to your seated position, nice and tall. And here we have some options for pigeon. This is where a block can come in handy. We're gonna take, I'm gonna do a couple things out of order here. First option is cross the right ankle over the left. You can just cross from the ankles. So what you're doing is making that right foot a little bit higher than the left. You're gonna drop that right knee out to the side a little bit. And as you do that, feel that external extension of your right hip. Breathing in and breathing out. If you want a little more sensation there in the hip, you can lean forward, but we haven't really talked about forward bends yet. Anytime we forward bend, we're gonna hinge from the hips. So there's no rounding at all of my spine. I'm just leaning forward a little bit, creating some sensation in my hip. Now that's option one, without taking that foot very high. Basically, the higher we go with this foot, the more sensation we're gonna have in the hip. So next option is gonna have a block underneath your foot, right foot, still right side. Coming onto the outer edge of that foot, so we take the knee out to the side. Left foot is right in neutral. Lifting and lengthening the spine. And again, as I exhale, I can hinge forward from the hips a little bit. Noticing sensation in the right hip. And you can hold this for 3 to 5 breaths. And then slowly come out of it. The last option is going to be bringing that foot all the way up on top of the left thigh. So some people can do this easily and some folks cannot. So always feel free to repeat one of the other options we did. Now here you can see the knee's going to come out to the side. You want to keep your right foot flexed. This is the pigeon posture. And then cradle the right knee with your right hand and your left foot with your left hand. Make sure, check back with your posture, sitting nice and tall. Notice sensation in your hip as well as your knee. This is pretty deep knee flexion. So for some folks, that can be a challenge. And then if you want to work this posture a little bit more, you can press your knee into your hand as you inhale. And as you exhale, stay there, but release the press and resistance. So as you inhale, pressing your knee into your hand. And as you exhale, you're releasing. And this is for strength, strengthening the hip bones. Breathing in and breathing out. And then when you're ready, take your time releasing the posture. Slowly bring that right foot, slide that right foot back down. Coming to seated mountain. We'll do the other side, same 3 options. First option is crossing left foot over the right. So it's going to lift your left foot up a little bit and the left knee comes out to the side. So we've got that external rotation here. And then inhaling, lift and lengthen your spine. As you exhale, you can lean forward a little bit, hinging from your hips, feeling sensation in your left hip. Holding it for, I'm just doing 3 breaths because we're going to do all 3, but you can stay in the posture. You can come in and out of it if you're new to it. Inhale to come up. Next posture or next option is to have that block under your foot. I'm going to sit a little bit forward so I can maintain a long spine. Again, bring the left foot onto the block, let the left knee come out to the side, external rotation. Sitting up nice and tall. As you exhale, hinge forward and aim out. 3 to 5 breaths. When you're ready to come up, slowly lift all the way back up along the spine. No rounding in the back. And we'll place that block aside. We're going to do, I believe, one more thing here, or two things. And then we'll come up and do some standing posture. So let's bring the knees a little bit wider than hip width apart, not really wide. We're going to take the hands down to the outer knees. And again, you're going to see me lean forward. I'm always hinging from the hips. So with a long spine, and I'm going to have my hands on the outer edges of the knees. And here I'm going to press the knees into the hands. The hands are resisting. So nice long spine, breathing in and breathing out. 3 breaths here. See if you can feel your outer hip muscles fire up there. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing at your own pace and breathing out. Inhale, come back up, lifting and lengthening that spine and relax the legs. If you like, you can give them a little shake it out. So last thing I'm going to show from the chair is we're going to face the left. So you're going to bring your knees over to the left and again find that tall seated mountain. We're going to do warrior 1 posture in the chair. We'll do warrior 2 and trikonasana, the triangle posture from standing. Now you have to be kind of close to the edge of your chair here. So the right hip might come off the chair a little bit. Make sure you still feel supported, like you're not going to fall off. You can hold onto your chair here, the left hand and the right hand in the front. I'm going to drop my right knee down. So that's why we have to be kind of on the edge of the chair. You're going to drop that right knee down. Try to point the knee all the way down to the mat. And then your left toe, or excuse me, your right toe can be tucked under here. Lift and lengthen your spine. As you exhale, draw your navel in. And then if you want to stretch a little bit more, you can hinge forward from the hips. Again, I'm hinging from the hips, long spine. See if you can stretch your right foot back. Now, this may not be comfortable for everyone. So this is just an option. You can maybe straighten that leg, keeping the long spine. And then I'm going to lift back up. And what's going to happen is naturally, I'm going to rebend that knee. But see, I have a little bit more stretch now in the front of that leg. Inhaling the right arm up. Now, if I didn't do that, I might just be here. That's okay too. If you feel okay with the balance, you can lift both arms up. And again, 3 breaths. If you need to hold onto the chair, no worries. You can keep both arms down if you want to. Breathing in and breathing out. Stretching the front of this hip. Breathing in and breathing out. One more breath here. Remember, you can hold it longer. That's one way you can progress this class if you want to keep watching it before you go into more difficult movements or challenging movements. You can always just hold the posture longer. So stepping that, I don't know if you saw what I just did there. So I'm going to lean to the left a little bit and step my right foot forward, coming back to seated mountain. And I'm just going to walk my way over to the other side. So facing the right, so I'm going to sit a little bit close to the edge so that I can drop that left knee down. Settle in, make sure your spine is long, hold onto your chair for support. If you want to try and go a little deeper, you can hinge forward from the hip and try and stretch that leg back. Take a breath or two there, might feel good to actually even stretch into the calf muscle. So this is the main area we're focusing on, but you might also feel a nice stretch in your calf muscle. And then lift back up, rebend your knee. If it feels safe, you can lift your left arm or maybe even both arms up. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. If you need to hold on to your chair, feel free to do that. And release that hand down. Leaning to the right, I'm going to step my left foot forward and I'm going to come back to center. Just take a little rest here because we're going to come up and stand a moment. Just take a breath or two, relaxing everything. Notice how you feel. Hopefully at the end of this class, you just feel a little bit stronger. So we're going to come now to stand. And I'm going to show you the standing mountain, just like seated mountain posture. and move this out of the way just for a second. We will use it for some of our standing postures. Let's see. Okay, so standing mountain, feet again, hip width apart, feet and knees, relax the shoulders down. Your longest spine here, drawing your navel in, engaging those abdominal muscles, lift and lengthen your spine. Chest is lifted, collarbones wide, chest lifted, shoulders back and down, neck long. Breathing in and breathing out. Now from mountain posture, we're going to come into Utkatasana, the chair pose. We were seated in a chair. Now we're going to sit in a chair without the chair there. So inhaling, we can take the arms forward here. As you exhale, bend your knees as if you were going to sit into a chair, but it's not there. Coming into a little squat. And then as you inhale, notice how that feels in your upper thighs. As you inhale, you're going to come back up to stand and exhale the arms down. We're going to repeat that. Breathing in, extend the arms. And breathing out, sit into chair pose. Let all the breath out. Breathing in, come back to stand. Breathing out. Breathing in, extend the arms. Breathing out, sit into chair pose. So when you sit in that imaginary chair, I'm actually hinging from my hips here. So the spine is still long. I'm going to hold this one for a couple of breaths, right? Building strength, bringing the hands to the heart. Holding for 3 to 5 breaths. Notice how you feel in the knees and the hips. Make sure your knees aren't going in or out, or they're not wobbly. If you need to hold on to something here, you could. If you're new to this and this is feeling really challenging, remember you can always come up as well. You can do it at the wall. You can actually do it with your back supported by the wall. Stepping your feet out and bending your knees, and you just kind of slide down the wall. And then you've got the support of the wall there. You're also not really forward bending in this type of squat. So this would be another option. You could start maybe 10 seconds, 20 seconds, building up to 30 seconds at the wall, or 3 to 5 breaths. We often just count breaths in yoga, but it's good to build that relationship and know how long one breath is for you. So that was the chair posture. So we're gonna, from here, before we come into our other standing postures, do a little bit of knee strength. And from your standing mountain posture, and again, it's good to do this on the mat. It's good to have a chair here for support. We're gonna step the right foot back and the left foot forward. And I'm gonna bend my left knee. So as I bend my left knee, I wanna make sure it's supported by my foot. I'm not going out over the foot where I'm pressing into my knee. You want that knee to be supported. Now we're actually gonna work on the back leg. These are knee dips, and knee dips can help you strengthen those muscles around the knee, which these are the muscles that are important for getting up and down from the floor. So if you do have a challenge with getting up and down, this is good for strengthening those muscles. Now, if you've got knee issues, be really mindful with that. We're going to move slowly and mindfully. If this doesn't feel right for you, then stop. So from this posture, and my back heel is down right now, but I'm going to lift my back heel up. So it's more like a high lunge posture. And then I'm going to bend that back knee any amount. Don't go too far. Don't go to the point of pain or strain. And then extend. Breathing in, I'm going to bend that back knee any amount. Breathing out, I'm going to come back up. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last one, fourth one. I'm going to hold this one if I can. If it feels challenging, don't bother to hold it today. You can work up to that. Maybe even extending one arm. Now, if you're a little bit stronger and you feel okay without holding on to anything, you could extend both arms, but only if you feel safe doing that. And also hands on your hips. And then straighten that back leg when you're ready to come up. I'm holding onto my chair. Not sure if you can see that. I'm going to step the back foot forward. So I'll show it this way for the other side. I think it can be helpful having different perspectives. You won't be able to see my knee bend as much this way. So you'll get it both ways. Now, I'm going to, from standing mountain again, actually, let me step forward a little bit. I'm going to step my left foot back this time, right foot forward, bending the right knee. Make sure that your knee is supported by your foot. You're not leaning into your knee, and then lift and lengthen your spine. From here, I'm going to lift my back heel up, so it's more of a high lunge. And this is a little bit of balanced posture. We're going to do some more balanced postures in just a moment. Taking a deep breath, I'm going to bend that back knee down a little bit. And exhale and straighten. Now, this is my stronger knee. I actually have some issues with my right knee, so you may notice one knee stronger than the other. And straighten. You can have one knee on your hip if you want. Go slowly, exploring that movement. Think about it as an exploration and being curious about movement. If anything doesn't feel right, come out of it. If it feels safe, you can hold it for 3 breaths, maybe taking both arms up. When you're ready to come out, maybe holding onto that chair, step your back foot forward, take a pause, notice how you feel. Between the chair pose and this, the knee dips is really good for strengthening the knees. So notice how you feel. All right, now we're gonna come into Warrior 2 posture and the triangle posture. Virabhadrasana 2 is the Sanskrit and Trikonasana. So we're gonna step the feet a little bit wider apart. Actually, I'm gonna bring my chair on the other side because we're gonna do right leg back first. Come into a wider stance with your legs. This is the wide leg mountain. Have your chair here so you can hold on to it. Breathing in, lift and lengthen your spine. As you exhale, draw your navel in. Feel for that. Now I'm going to turn my left toes towards the chair. And you want your knee to also be going in that same direction. We're going to be bending that front knee. My right toes are still pointing towards you guys or towards the camera. So if you have wider legs, you may have to kind of take the feet a little bit further apart. If you're going to bend your knee more deeply, you're going to have to slide your front foot forward. Front foot forward, that's a mouthful, to accommodate that. So your body may look different than mine right now, depending on the width of your hips, the length of your legs, and so on and so forth. Just make sure your knee feels safe and your hip feels safe, your right hip and your left knee. If you feel okay with extending the arms and not holding on, you can do that. Extending your arms, extending through the fingers, deep breath in. This is a big opening in the chest and the hips. If you need to turn your back foot in a little bit, you can do that as well. And hold for 3 breaths. If you need to hold onto your chair, you can hold onto your chair and your hip. Taking the gaze to the left. I'm not sure I said that. So you can take the gaze to the left. Breathing in, stretch the fingers. And breathing out. Do one more breath here today. Remember, holding 15 to 30 seconds to build that bone strength. When you're ready to come out, relax your arms or bring your hands to your heart, straighten your front leg. If you feel a little bit off balance, hold onto your chair, step that back foot in a little bit. We're going to come into triangle posture. Actually, I stepped in a little bit too much. So same side, we'll do the Trikonasana triangle posture, and then we'll do the other side. This time, both legs are straight, so I'm not going to bend the knee, but my knee and my foot are still pointing to the left, and I'm going to use my chair for support. We can do different levels here. This is a big stretch, again, for the hips and for strength in the hips. My right foot's going to be pointing towards the camera, or option to turn your toes in a little bit, or slide your heel back a little bit, if that makes sense. It'll lessen the amount of sensation in the right hip. Extending the arms if you feel safe doing that, or you can hold onto your chair. And then as you exhale, you're hinging from your hip. You're going to reach forward. If you feel safe with this left hand, you can actually place the right hand on your hip. Hinging forward, bringing your hand to the chair, the back of the chair. You can bend your elbow, or to the seat of the chair. That's going to be a little bit lower. And then you can reach that right arm up. This is the triangle posture. Feel for drawing your navel in. Notice sensation in the right hip. Breathing in and breathing out. Now, over time, you might be able to come into it a little bit deeper. You could take your right hand to the leg, or you could use a block here under your hand, which I'll show on the other side since my block is way far away at the moment. And we're taking those 3 to 5 breaths here. Building strength in the hips, long spine. When you're ready to come out, Use your breath, breathing in, come all the way back up. And I forgot to say, if that top arm is getting tired, you can always place it to the hip as well. So just know you have options. Sometimes there might be other things going on, like shoulder injuries or tendonitis or something. So coming back to your standing mountain, your wide leg mountain, pause and rest. Because I'm using a chair, I'm gonna turn it around the other way. Now, if you're at home using a chair, you can just turn your back. Unless you want to see me, then you have to move the chair around. So I want to be able to look towards the camera, so I'm going to move my chair. I'm going to turn my right toes now towards the chair. Make sure that the right knee is, when we come into warrior two, because remember we're going to do that first. As you bend the knee, it's going to be going in the same direction as your foot. Now I got to step my feet a little wider apart because I have longer legs. And I'm going to bend my knee. So, but I want it to track in the same direction as the toes and be supported by my ankle. Drawing the navel in, and then warrior two, extending the arms if you feel okay to do that. You could also do this at the wall, by the way. You could use your wall for support. I'm using the chair. I'm choosing to use the chair today. And let me actually grab one of these blocks. So you can hold onto the chair or extend your arms, draw your navel in, feel the sensation in your left hip. Make sure your right knee isn't wobbling in. Nice, strong legs, strong core. Breathing in and breathing out. Can you take 2 more breaths here? If the arms are tired, again, we can just relax the arms a little bit. Legs stay the same, engaging your core. 1 more breath. And then we're going to straighten that front leg and step that back foot in a little bit, shorten the distance between your feet. Otherwise, you're going to feel like you're doing a split. But we're going to keep our feet basically the same for triangle posture. Right foot, right knee are pointing to the right. My left foot pointing towards the camera. You can slide your heel back a little bit and turn your toes in if that feels more comfortable on your left hip. So just check in with your hip, notice how that feels. I'm going to place a block here too because I want to show it with the block and the chair on the side. You don't have to use a block. We're going to inhale and extend the arms. As you exhale, take your gaze to the right. We're going to reach with that right hand. Feel all that length in your body. Maybe you bring the right hand down to the top of the chair. So top of the chair, as you lean forward, you have to bend your elbow to make space. Otherwise, it's like you can't reach that far. You have nothing to hold on to. So bending the elbow, if you can come lower, then take your hand to the chair and reach the left arm up. You can also take your hand to the block. That's going to be lower than the chair. So those are 3 degrees there. There's upper chair, seat of the chair, block, or the leg. You can also use your leg if you don't have any props. Extending the arms apart, opening through the chest. Try not to let the shoulder kind of cave down. The chest is open here. The hips are open. Breathing in and breathing out. Keeping your neck long as well, looking forward. You will see versions of this posture of people looking up or looking down, but just looking forward today. Keep your neck long. It can be a bit much sometimes to turn the gaze upward. When you've had enough, when you're ready to come out, inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, relax the arms. I'm going to turn my right toes forward, come back to that wide leg stance. Did I forget anything? Nope. And then I'm going to step my feet together and just kind of shake it off. So we're going to do 2 balancing postures. And then I'm going to show the plank pose for core strength and the downward facing dog we did at the wall for people that can't get down on the floor. So let me just get my blanket out of the way. A tree pose is the first balancing posture we're going to do. Again, good for strength and balance. We'll start by balancing on the right foot. So I'm going to keep my chair to the side. You could also use a wall space here. Rooting down through that foot. Draw your navel in. Start to bend your left knee. And then you're going to open the left knee out to the side. Or think about rotating the femur bone. So we're opening the left hip. You're on the ball of the left foot with the sole of the foot facing your right leg. Draw the navel in, lengthen through your spine. If you feel safe with your balance, you could extend your left hand. Maybe you extend both arms. Could also have the hands to the heart. We're going to take 3 breaths here. If you're okay with it, or once you start to build that strength and balance, you could take your foot to the inner right shin bone or above the knee to the thigh. You'll see these different versions of tree posture. And there are many more. These are just 3 versions. So foot on the floor is going to be a little easier as you begin on the shin or on the thigh. Just make sure your foot's not pushing into your knee. You don't want to push into the kneecap. Keep rooting down through the foot, hugging your outer hip in, drawing the navel in, maybe using the arms. Always set the foundation first through the feet. I'm going to keep talking. I hope you keep breathing here. We're probably on 4 or 5 breaths by now. So when you're ready, release that foot down. Shake out the standing leg. That's the leg doing all the work that we're strengthening. So I'm going to move my chair to the other side. I'm going to root down through that left foot. Same thing, draw the navel in, hold onto your chair or the wall. Bend your right knee and externally rotate that hip. So we're going to turn the leg out. We're on the ball of the foot. Make sure when you do that, you don't sink into this left hip. So you're drawing the left hip in, drawing your core muscles in. The hip and the navel, nice and tight. It's like your inner corset muscles. And then inhale, maybe extend your right arm if you feel okay with the balance, or even both arms. Or you could do the hands to the heart, or you could take the arms out to the side, whatever you want to explore once the foundation is solid. And if that becomes easy for you, you could try the foot to the shin or the foot to the thigh. So these are already progressions that you can do when you feel safe in your practice to do that. Now I'm holding on here with one hand. Maybe if you feel safe, never, take both arms up if you don't feel safe, because we don't want to fall. We want to avoid falls. So once you come out, shake out that standing leg, especially. That's the one doing all the work. We can kind of wiggle those knees back and forth. We really work the knees today. I'm going to give you one more balance posture before we come to the wall. And so this is a version of the bird dog posture, some people call it. We usually do it on all fours in table posture, but knowing that some of my clients cannot get on the floor, we're going to do it from the chair. So instead of my hands being on the floor, I'm going to touch the chair. And I'm going to start to take weight onto my left foot, rooting down. Just step my right foot back a little bit. Again, really important to engage your core muscles here. Draw the navel in, lengthen through your spine. And then I'm going to start to hinge forward a little bit from my hip. Take that right foot back, taking a little bit of weight into the hands, not too much. And then maybe extend the left arm. So opposite, left arm forward, right leg back. Draw your navel in. Breathe in and breathe out. You could also call this a variation on Warrior 3. Opposite arm, opposite leg. You can also take a slight bend in your left knee, especially if you tend to be hypermobile or hyperextend your knees. When you're ready to come out, lift back up. Make sure you're not rounding in your spine. Sometimes if we wobble, we tend to do that. So stay lifted in the chest. You can shake out the knees again. We'll go to the other side. We haven't done a forward bend yet either. We have to get that in. So let's switch sides. It's taking the weight onto your right foot. Step the left foot back. That's going to be the one we're going to extend. Root down through the right foot. Draw your navel in. Always build your foundation. And then take a little bit of weight into the hands. We're going to lift that back foot off the floor. Maybe extend that right arm. Stay lifted here. I'm not forward bending. I'm a little bit of a hinge here, but I'm basically lifting my back leg back. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Draw the navel in. Engage your core, breathing in and breathing out. We'll just do one more breath here. I think we've been holding it for a little bit. When you're ready to come out, release the hand, release the foot. Again, we can shake out the knees. And then while I'm standing here, I'll show a forward bend, safe forward bend from the chair. And then we'll come and do the downward facing dog at the wall. Actually, I'm going to turn my chair around and we'll do a wide leg forward bending. So this is really nice for the legs, the hips, and the lower back. So I'm going to step my feet apart. So if you're on a yoga mat, you want to step the long way on your mat. I'm going to scoot over a little bit because I want to use my chair. And you can, if you have a yoga block, feel free to put that on your chair. I'll show a nice way to do this where you press your forehead onto the block. So I'm going to take my glasses off as well. So anytime that we forward bend, and you can do this seated as well. In fact, let me even show that. Anytime we forward bend, we want to come back to that seated mountain posture or standing mountain where the spine is long. This is really important with osteoporosis. We're going to hinge forward from the hips, so I'm not rounding my spine. If you go to a gym or a yoga studio and you're doing a yoga class and they're like, round your spine up or down, not safe for osteoporosis. So we're going to hinge from the hips any amount. Some people might just be a little bit. If you come forward even just a little bit, you start to feel nice stretch here, engagement of these muscles in the lower back and into your gluteal muscles. Spine is long. Some people might be able to come down to their elbows. Make sure you don't cave into the chest here. As you inhale, you're just going to lift all the way back up, again with a long spine. Exhale and relax. That is the seated mountain. We're going to do the standing mountain with the legs stepped apart. So we're coming into wide leg mountain. The feet are maybe about 2.5 to 3 feet apart. Again, depending on your leg length. I'm going to place this block on my chair. You'll see why. Inhaling, maybe extending the arms, drawing your navel in, lengthen through your spine. You might want to bring your hands to your hips and then hinge from your hips. So long spine, long spine. I'm going to get my hands out of the way so you can see my spine. Bring your hands down to the chair. If you're able to go further, you can come down onto elbows. Now, the second thing about forward bends, the first thing was hinging from the hips. The second thing is not bringing your head below your heart. If you have really high blood pressure that's untreated, or even really low blood pressure, that can make you feel dizzy. Plus, we want to be careful with the spine in this class. Glaucoma would be another thing. We don't want to be hanging the head way down. So I'm using my chair, and I'm going to come onto my elbows. And then what's nice about the block practice is you can have your block either on the high level or the medium level, depending on how far you're going to bring your head down. And you can rest your eyebrow center right at the edge of the block there. So there's different marma points, we would say in yoga, or acupressure points that you're stimulating by pressing on that block that are just calming and grounding. This can be a nice posture to end with. We're not quite at the end, but it could be a nice thing to do at the end of the night. Now really make sure that your spine is long, you're not rounding. Breathing in and breathing out. And of course, if you don't have a block, that's no worries. Just be mindful about your head and your neck. You're not creating tension there, keeping the neck long. And we'll come out slowly walking the hands back to the edge of the feet, or to the edge of the seat. Bend your knees, come into a little bit of a squat so that you can lift and lengthen with a long spine, and then step your feet together. Standing mountain. I'm going to come over to the wall space. I think I'm done with my chair, unless you want to use your chair for final rest. But we're going to come and do the plank and the downward facing dog at the wall. Okay, yeah. So first, we're going to start with the plank pose. We'll come pretty close to the wall, and I hope that you can see me okay. I'm going to extend my arms out in front with my hands pretty much in line with my shoulders, maybe a little bit wider. And then I'm going to come up onto the balls of my feet. Actually, I need to step back a little bit so I can extend my arms. So you may have to find that. You kind of find your way in. You want to be an arm's length from the wall so that you're not bending at the elbows. You're going to straighten the arms, coming up onto the balls of the feet. And I can even come back a little bit more. So balls of the feet, and then draw your navel in, keep the spine long. Feel the effort that takes from your core. These are the exercises, the muscles that we want to engage right here in the core. Can also be good for your lower back. And hold for 3 to 5 breaths. This is a nice way to do it for people that can't come onto the floor and do a plank pose. Next time I breathe out, I'm going to bring my heels back down. I'm going to come right into downward facing dog. Now, I'm going to slide my hands down the wall a little bit so that my wrists are still in line with my shoulders because I'm going to be walking backward. I'm going to walk back a little bit more. So I create sort of this V shape with my body, and I'm going to push into the wall just a little bit, shift my weight into my hips. Actually, I walked back too far. So shifting your hips back, now your head's going to come down kind of between your arms, but it's not below the heart. I'm not inverting here. Big stretch for the whole back body, back of the legs, upper back, lower back. Breathing in and breathing out. Make sure you're not locking your knees if you do have hypermobility. I always feel so much longer after I do this. It's like all that length. And when you're ready to come out, we're going to inhale. Look forward towards the wall. Start to shift your hips forward again. And take a step. Step either foot forward and then the other. Relax your arms by your side. I hope you could hear me when I'm talking to the wall. It's kind of hard to show the wall things here, but relax your arms, your shoulders. Come back to your mountain pose. You might just want to give it a little shake, Relax the shoulders back and down. Take a couple of breaths. Notice how you feel. Because all we have left is final rest. We're going to come back down to the floor if you want, or to the chair to come into our resting posture. Maybe take a couple of sigh breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. All right. So I want to demonstrate coming down onto the floor for those that want to do it. Remember that you don't have to do this. If you are not comfortable doing that, just come down and sit in your chair. Make yourself comfortable in your chair. If you want to sit in any other kind of chair at home, in a recliner or something that supports you, you can do that for final rest. I'm going to use my chair to help transition. And you can also use blocks. So remember the knee bends that we did. They're really helpful for strengthening the muscles we use to get down to the floor. What's important is I don't want to round my back, and I also don't want to fall. So I'm going to step 1 foot forward and 1 back. Doesn't really matter which one. We're just coming down to the floor. And I want to bend that back knee again, right? There's that knee dip. So I'm going to lift my back heel. I'm going to dip my knee a little. You could have your hands here on your hips or on your front thigh. Now, as I come forward, I want my spine to be long, right? I want to have that extended spine. I'm not rounding my spine. I'm going to dip that back knee down. You could also have your hands on your front thigh. And then bring the other knee down. Lifting up, my spine is still long. I'm going to come to all fours, bringing my hands down, and then I'm going to slowly, it's important to do all of this slowly, shift my weight to one side, to one hip. Now I'm going to scoot around just so you can see. So I'm on one hip. Again, doesn't matter which one. I'm going to come down onto my side before I come onto my back. So long, extended spine, coming onto my side. And then rolling onto my back. And it's going to be the same thing coming up. I'm going to show that because I want to show you one more time. Of course, you can always stop the video and go back. But coming out, rolling onto my side, I'm going to walk myself up with a long spine, transitioning to all fours, long spine. This is where it can be helpful to use your blocks because as you lift up on the blocks, it's going to lift you up off the floor farther, maybe coming to your chair, and then you have to step 1 foot forward. That's sometimes the hard part. Some people like to walk their hands to the side and then kind of bring that foot around and come up. Other people do what I did the first time, right, where we just want to lift ourselves up as high as possible to make space. And then slowly bring that foot forward. But see, as we're bringing that forward, we want to make sure that the leg forward, that we're not hurting the back. The way I actually like to do it, if you're okay being on your knees, is coming up to stand on my knees first. and then stepping forward. And now there's no pressure here on the lower back. Then you can take hands to the chair. Tuck the back toe under and step your back foot forward. I'm kind of in a forward bend here. Well, I am in a forward bend, but hinging from the hips, long spine, no curvature of the back, and then coming up to stand. So you can always watch that in reverse. I'm going to come back down now, breathing in. Maybe reach into the sky. I'm going to find that long spine. As I exhale, I'm going to bend my knees, coming into that like chair pose. Hands to the chair. Stepping one foot back, one knee down. Untuck the toe. Second knee comes back. And I am going to come down to table posture. Here you can kind of crawl around a little bit if you need to. And then I'm going to shift my weight onto one hip. Doesn't matter which one. Slowly come onto my side. And then roll onto my back. Now, before you get there, you want to have the props you want to use for final rest if you're going to lie on the floor. You could just come in the seated posture. You might want a blanket to support your head. I'm going to come down this way. You might want some pillows or a couch cushion. I happen to have a yoga bolster, but you don't have to go out and buy expensive things. That can support your legs. Let's come to it from the side. So I'm going to be on my side. I'm going to shift onto my back. You can put some pillows under your legs to support your lower back. Extending your legs. Let your arms rest by your side or on your belly, wherever they're comfortable. Start to settle in. You could also put your feet up on the chair if you wanted to do something like that. I'm just going to stay here now. Another possibility, if you didn't have any pillows to support your legs, would be to just keep your knees bent. Walk your feet as wide as your yoga mat and let your knees fall in on each other so the legs are supported. And this is also a version of constructive rest. So please take a moment to choose one of those postures or stay seated in your chair, but let your body get comfortable. If you're sitting in the chair, just make sure your head's not falling forward or you're not caving into the chest because we want to be able to breathe. Take a couple of nice big sigh breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Feel your body start to settle. We'll slowly scan through the body now. Relaxing the back of your head, let your head be heavy. Soften through the muscles of your face, your forehead, your temples, your eyes and your eyelids. Welcome to close the eyes if you like. Soften the cheeks and the jaws. Soften the tongue inside the mouth. Relax the neck and the throat. Soften through the shoulders, releasing them into the mat. Let your arms be heavy. Let your hands be soft. Feel your back body supported by the earth. Feel your spine from your tailbone all the way up to the back of your skull. As you inhale, you might feel your back lift a little bit from the floor, and as you exhale, relaxing into the earth. Breathing in long spine spaciousness in the body, and breathing out, relaxing into ease. Feeling your front body as you inhale into the lower part of your lungs, the middle and the upper. Exhaling from low to high. Feel your belly soften, your ribs soften, your chest soften. Hips grounded on the mat. Relaxing the upper legs, the backs of your knees, calf muscles, backs of the heels, the soles of the feet, the tips of the toes, and the tops of the feet. Feel the whole body now, from the crown of the head to the soles of the feet, relaxed and at ease. And the breath flowing through the body. Breathing in and out through your nose if possible. Letting your breath and your heart rate slow down. Letting the body release and soften. Letting the muscles of the body relax. Nourishing your body with each breath in, nourishing all the muscles. With each breath out, releasing stress, tension, or tightness in the body, letting go. If you'd like to relax a little bit more, you can slow your breath down more by lengthening your exhalation and coming into a deeper state of relaxation and ease. By breathing in through your nose, gently blowing the breath out through pursed lips. Like you're blowing through a straw. Some people call this the straw breath. It's actually the khaki breath or the crow breath. Breathing in through your nose and making a little beak, pursing your lips. Blowing the breath out slowly and gently, not forcefully. It's inhaling through your nose and out through your mouth. Naturally lengthening your exhalation. Maybe taking a couple more breaths like that. At your own time and pace. Relaxing your whole face, all your sensory organs, letting go. Feel your body supported by the earth and the weight of gravity. And you can rest here as long as you like. Letting your body rest and restore and recharge. Or you can slowly come back, slowly begin to transition. Maybe wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, bringing some little movements back in. Or stretching the arms, taking some bigger movements. You want your feet on as you stretch. Just to make sure you come out safely. If you're in your chair, of course, you're already seated. If you need to come up from the floor, rolling to the side. Using your hands, pushing into the floor. Lift yourself up slowly with a long spine. You could come back to a seated position on the floor. Or again, if you're going to transition to your chair, making sure that you come up slowly, one foot at a time, and with a long spine. So I did that a little more quickly there in the end, but make sure that you take your time. I just want to end seated, bringing the hands to the heart. Finding that seated tall mountain. Thank you so much for practicing with me. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to email me. Again, my email will be in the comments. And if you're interested in the whole 6-week series, it sort of leads into this. This is kind of like doing the end first, but I put this class up for the veterans that studied with me. We do other movements as well in the series. We talk a little bit more about the importance of holding the postures, so on and so forth. So please feel free to contact me. Thank you so much. I wish you well. I wish you peace. I wish you strength. Namaste.